Loose corners can be slow, frustrating, painful, and really hard to master. So let's look at a few things that's hopefully going to help us do it. But what do I mean by loose corners first? Well, we're here in lovely sunny Scotland, just outside Fort William, and we're on the trail centre. So you see these type of turns in trail centres, bike parks, places where people have man-made the trails. So this is a nice berm, but actually it's really hard packed, and there's loads of little stones that have fallen out of it. And that makes it super loose, and there's hardly any grip in corners like this. But where are you going to find the best of the grip in these turns? Well, all these little stones, they sort of pull out of the corner and they're all going to drop to the bottom, especially if it's bermed up like this. So really it's trying to stay high on that turn is going to make it that bit grippier, but not always. You really have to look around the turns to try and plan your lines. You might find, like this corner for example, it actually goes quite flat at the end. So I want to make sure I've done as much of my cornering as early as possible. So I'm not trying to turn hard in this loose stuff here. And I'm definitely not thinking about going inside because it's really hard pack. These pebbly stuff on top, it's just like marbles. Getting off the brakes is super important in corners generally, but it's super important when it comes to loose corners. Down there, it's almost kitty litter, so there's gonna be hardly any grip. And I've actually got quite a steep roll into this bit, but it's quite rough and rocky. Actually means I can use those sort of collisions, those edges, to help slow me down a bit. So I'm gonna get behind the bike, heels down, really drive the bike into those bumps, get on the brakes as hard as I can, let off, and then try and roll through this whole corner as smoothly and as off the brakes as much as I can. If you have to hit the brakes, you're likely to lose grip and pretty likely to crash. That's not to say that you can always come off the brakes. Sometimes the corner is on a bank and it's just steep enough that you're going to need to slow down at the same time. So this is all about being super gentle with those braking inputs. Good line choice and being smooth on the brakes is all good and well, but eventually you're going to get it wrong. This is mountain biking, we all do it of course. And I've just done it on this section of turns here. So this first corner actually flattens off in the middle and I ran a little bit wide. That means I'm completely offline for this second corner. So I've actually tried to rely on a bit of a slide to help me turn because I'm not gonna make it. I've really got to get that bike turning super hard. I've got to try and predict how much I'm gonna slide and where I'm gonna grip to make sure I don't fall off. So like I talk about a lot with cornering technique, I try and look towards the exit. It's still really important. I've got a big 180 turn here, so I'm glancing over my shoulder to see where the trail goes. But actually I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit because with this type of corner, it's really tricky. My line is so important that actually I'll come back. I'll then start looking sort of mid-corner, so maybe 10 or 12 foot ahead of myself, just so I absolutely nail this, because an inch one way or the other, I could be going over the top, or I could be sliding down into that loose, gravelly stuff and really losing any grip I've got. So there's a few tips on how to ride some loose turns. To be honest, I'm not sure you ever quite master them. They're always changing, so even if you're riding the same track all the time, they can be different, but it is a good feeling when you get them nailed, you're just at the point of drifting and you've still got 2 feet on the pedals. That does feel really good. If you want to see a video that goes into some cornering skills a bit more in depth, click over there for that one. Give us a thumbs up because I like seeing them, and I'm going to finish this trail off.